It is Election Day Eve. And wow, I can't believe we're here.
Right, and not a creature was stirring.
Right?
Although there's lots of stirring, everybody is at peak freak out, and I feel like normal people are reading the news as much as I normally do,
Right.
and of course, I'm reading the news as much as an even more crazy person does.
People are tuned in. They always say not everyone tunes in until like the end, and now I think like the majority is kind of tuned in.
Oh yeah, there's an election, right?
But we're junkies, so we were tuned in months ago, and we've gone
know.
through all these like ups and downs.
I know.
Biden was supposed to be the candidate. Now it's the Vice President Harris, and I feel like my prediction right now.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's not even a crazy prediction. I do think she's going to win by quite a bit.
Maybe. I was really thinking Trump was going to win until the last few days.
I was super worried he was going to win, but
I still think I won't be surprised if he wins.
No, I won't be surprised. Like, I'm ready to be crushed, essentially.
Yeah, I seriously think,
and
I don't know. I can't say I think she'll win because it feels like bad juju. You know what I'm saying?
It does, but the thing that, I mean,
and I don't necessarily even fully feel that way either. You know,
right?
I feel like the facts are telling me that kind of right now that she's, you know, a hair ahead, right? Probably.
I think she's ahead by quite a bit because.
Well, I have read that, you know, based on this Iowa poll that came out recently,
the Seltzer
poll has her up in Iowa, and then if you extrapolate from that through the rest of the country, and then it's a blowout, basically. Or even if it's just the Midwest, or even if she is off, but sort of in the ballpark, it's still like, would be a blowout.
I mean, how could she lose
Not a blowout,
Wisconsin if she's ahead in Iowa? I think is the
right. And same thing with Minnesota, and probably similar
Michigan.
To Pennsylvania, which is really, I think that's the thing. It's like she needs to win Pennsylvania.
I mean, one of the big things that they've been talking about is there's so much early voting that I guess probably 50% of people will have voted by tomorrow already, you know?
Yes.
So it's much different than it used to be. And it appears that women have been the majority of the early vote.
Right.
By like, it's like 53. It seems like it's like 53 to 47. And I don't see how she can lose unless there's some crazy amount of men that show up at the polls.
Right. That's true. And also, you know, I feel like I've heard this spun in a way that's positive for Trump, but the fact is that more Republicans are voting early than ever before.
Yeah.
And yet, despite that fact, Democrats are still way ahead.
Right.
So that makes me think that you know, they're not going to have their election day dominance of a ton of voters coming out. Then, I mean, I'm sure they still will, but not in the same way that they would if in the past. So I see the early vote as definitely looking good for Democrats. But then you look at 538 and they still have Trump ahead. And
but
I think the Times maybe
Nate Silver, and I didn't even realize this. My wife was like, yeah, duh. But apparently he works for Peter Thiel. Did you know that?
Oh, yes, right.
So it really he should not even be like, nobody should pay attention to Nate Silver right now.
Yeah. Well, because is Peter Thiel the one who has that election betting market that you can only bet on if you're not an American?
Oh, is that right? That I don't know, but that sounds like something he would do.
I think so. And Trump is just wildly ahead, like approaching 70 to 30%.
In a lot of them. Although I just got an email from Predict It. Is that the one you use,
I
or do you
used to use
use?
Predict It. I thought
Yeah,
they couldn't. I thought they got shut down.
I
I didn't know
thought
they were
they
still
did,
around.
but I guess somebody bought them, and they now she's ahead of him on
Oh,
Predicted.
interesting. On I've been on Kalshi a bit. Kalshi or KLSHI.
Oh, I don't know that, but
Yeah, that's an app. And that's the one I've used, but I didn't really. I bet like $2 on each of them or something like
right,
that
right.
because just I don't because I to me I really have no idea. I don't feel strongly about it. But he is still ahead, but he had been way up. But the
Right.
interesting thing is, I feel like there's so many Republicans who, especially those who participate in those markets, who are just so positive that he's going to win. And this was true on Predicted in 2022.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, red wave, red wave. And I believed it. It's going to be a red wave. And then, of course, it wasn't. You know, they
I
were
think
wildly
everybody
off.
lives in their own bubble, though,
I mean, I think that's true, but I feel like Dems are just so much more likely to be like, I don't know, she might
Worried,
lose.
yeah.
I'm not sure she's going to win. Maybe, she's going to lose. Whereas a
I
lot of
think
these
they
Republicans are like, he's going to win.
totally. But it
He's going
seems
to
like a
win New York
bad move
State.
because Trump says that a lot. And I have to think that would suppress some of his voters. If he's telling his voters he's definitely going to win, why would the ones on the fence like show up, you know?
I think you're right because I think
Yeah,
it's a big part of election day is that a lot of people who decide they're going to vote on someone just don't make it to the polls because
right.
of something like that. They don't think it matters or they're not excited to do it for whatever
Their
reason. Or,
candidate fillets a microphone.
oh man, I didn't even see the footage of that.
Uh,
How was it?
how could you not see the footage of it?
I don't know. I'm on the internet all the time. I couldn't find good footage. I
I
only like
wish I
from a
didn't
distance.
see it.
I mean, what do you think?
And he did it twice. Well, it seems like he thinks like his campaign is him trying to be a stand-up comedian, but he doesn't really write the material. He just
No.
improvises it for hours.
Yeah, did the audience laugh at the
It looked like some of them laughed. And then he also said that like he wouldn't mind if a shooter shot the news media to try to
Yeah,
get to him.
after saying Liz Cheney should get executed, possibly.
I
I mean,
mean, I don't know if
alluding to it.
he legitimately said she should be executed, but he kind of it was definitely like fell into that like
Yeah,
violent fantasy thing where he's like where he knows the line of like he can't say I hope she dies, but he could
yeah,
say how would she do if guns were pointing in her face. Or
right,
like
right.
with Hillary Clinton, he was like, I hope the Second Amendment people take care of her. And it's hazy enough where it's not
I
a death
guess. I
threat.
mean, that's
Yeah.
crazy. I
Remember
mean, I
that?
think
That was,
that's a death threat right there. But yeah, saying that about the press too is like
yeah,
insane.
I know.
It's just like there's nothing that's taken seriously anymore. You can't. This is the world we're in. But this is why I feel like I can't picture him facing consequences in my gut.
Right.
Like I can't picture he has his sentencing coming up end of November, November
Oh, wow.
27th or something like that. And it's like I can't see him facing any real consequences there. It just
Right.
seems
I don't know.
too hard to wrap my head around that
I think
happening.
if he loses, he might really go to jail. But I guess
Maybe.
everything has a chance of going to the Supreme Court.
I'm not even saying just jail. I'm
Yeah.
saying like anything, anything
Yeah.
more than just a fine.
I mean, losing the election would be a consequence.
Can a state? I guess state trials can go to Supreme Court. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. But that will be. I mean, even the conservatives aren't going to want state. They like the idea of state judges, of states doing what they want to do.
I mean that's
So
true,
it
but they
is a
don't think
double-edged
ahead.
sword. Yeah,
Yeah.
but they do seem to want to protect him.
I don't know. Yeah. So you think it could? So you're thinking right now, based on this Iowa pollster, that
Not necessarily based on it. I kind of feel like she of these of like the 3 states or 4 states, like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and then now Iowa, I kind
Hmm.
of feel like she might win 2 of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, even if she doesn't win Pennsylvania, and I think she is going to win Pennsylvania, I do think
It's
she has a shot at Georgia.
yeah, and
And
seemingly North Carolina
I
too.
think it would be over. Yeah, I think it's over if she wins those.
I mean, she has a shot at them certainly, but so does Trump. You know.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I don't know about Nevada and Arizona.
Nevada doesn't look great.
No, that
And
makes that
Arizona
makes sense.
doesn't look
Yeah.
great. But I think all she has to win is right Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Oh yeah, then it's
And she
done.
wins.
Yeah.
And then if she wins North Carolina, well, one thing they're saying is if early in the evening, if Florida, even if she loses Florida, but it's like super close,
Yeah.
people are saying it's over because like there's no reason why Florida should be close.
Right. Yeah. Maybe we'll know something early.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Apparently they count their
Yeah.
votes very quickly.
There's so many of those really depressing nights, though, of election
I know.
nights. You know,
I know.
where it's like, oh, wait, things aren't going how we thought or how we hoped.
Right. If like Pennsylvania is starting to look bad, that will be depressing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because if we should know a lot. Just getting in East Coast, we'll probably know whether it's over or not pretty quickly. But though Pennsylvania seems to take a while to count votes. I mean, so does Florida. But
And I think Wisconsin too.
I guess it just will depend on how close it is.
Yeah, they don't let them count it until like the morning of or something. There's all these new laws.
Oh, to count
like the mail-in and the early votes and stuff.
Have you voted yet?
I did. I voted on Halloween, actually.
Nice. Did you go to to pull the lever?
Yes, so to speak, metaphorically.
Do they still have levers in New York?
No, not in my polling place. It's all like you put it through a scanner now, right?
Yeah, that's what we have out here.
Yeah.
But the last time I guess I saw any levers was back in New York. But that was
I mean,
also
I
'cause it
kind
was
of
a while
used
ago.
to love those levers. They were
Oh
really
man, it
loud
was
and
so exciting.
ka-chung.
Yeah, it felt real. It felt physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Phew, man, good old days.
Yeah, seriously. That was like the classic New York voting experience.
You know, and I have been starting to think about if Trump does win. I feel like we're not. I feel like we're all whipped up about it turning into fascism, which I think is all sorts of crazy things could happen, and I agree absolutely. But even if he doesn't go as crazy as he's saying he will, which he probably will, you think about stuff like the Supreme Court, and then you're like, oh, gay marriage gone. I mean, like, I'm trying to think what else.
Biracial marriage.
Like, who knows? Like, I mean,
I think
yeah.
The thing with abortion, I mean, I do think that will, in a weird way, I think that's helping Kamala, that issue, so much. Because
it seems like it.
This idea of like a miscarriage, like as horrible as that is, it was never something that could kill you, you know?
Yeah.
And the Republicans single-handedly made this like, medical process that doctors can do if you're having a miscarriage. It's something that was that had been done many, many times, and nobody ever, I mean, I'm sure there are rare cases, but they've really just made it like a deadly thing in like half the country.
It's really, it's total craziness. Yeah.
It's craziness, right? And if you're a woman, I mean, there are so many men that care about the issue too, but if you're a woman, like this, especially someone that is pregnant or is planning to be pregnant or might be pregnant someday. I mean, how do you vote for Republicans knowing that, like, depending on what state you live in or might live in the future, you could die?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
has there ever been anything like this in our country's history where they
God.
basically just, like, are killing people? Like, because of a
Yeah,
religious,
yeah.
Can you
It's
think of anything?
uh, I don't know. I mean, probably in the like distant past, but not anything. I don't
Yeah,
know. But
yeah.
no, I can't. I can't think of anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That
it's
seems
insane.
like the most urgent thing right
I don't even
now.
know how people stay living in these states, or at least
Right,
I can
like
actually I can understand that
why they
because
don't
it's
leave the state.
because it's very hard to move, pull up, and leave your
Right.
community and job, etc. But
If you have
to
a
move
family.
there, to make a choice to move there,
Right.
unless there's a really good reason, it's like I don't
Yeah, I
know. Why would
wonder
you do that?
if there have been studies about population movement
There was
after
actually something.
Dobbs, was there?
Oh, well, there was something in the Times the other day about how Republicans are moving to more red areas and Democrats are moving to more blue areas.
So
Uh,
Republicans are moving to those states? Like, that just seems crazy.
it wasn't just states, though. It was like just neighborhoods, even. They were breaking it down
Oh,
to.
I see.
Um,
I
but
see. I see.
yeah, but yeah, no, but I would be curious to really see something more focused specifically on movement post Dobbs. Although it's still sort of a new thing that we're
It
still getting
is.
our hands around the repercussions of. So
And
it
these
might be a
stories
little
are
bit.
kind of like they're trickling out.
Yep.
Like, you hear about them.
Yeah.
They may not be happening by the like tens of thousands, but
No,
still the
no.
risk.
It's actually kind of crazy to me that there's not even more uproar over like specific people this happening to them,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
but you know what? It might be one of those things where it's not in my bubble as much. I mean, I do see it,
Yeah.
but for a woman who is looking at certain things, that they might be reading about that even more, and then confronted with it even more, and so it is very, very much in their bubble, which would make sense.
Yeah, I think in like states like Kansas, like really conservative states,
Yeah,
have voted for propositions that
right,
protect
right.
women from abortion.
Yeah,
And
because
and now there's those ads, one of them's voiced by Julia Roberts.
oh,
That's basically suggesting that women, nobody knows who you vote for. And don't
right.
worry, you don't have to tell your husband the truth.
Oh, good. It's so
It's
crazy that
really
this is the
clever.
thing.
And I do think that's going to make a difference.
There was a poll, I think, that YouGov did maybe that said 1 in 8.
Who did?
YouGov,
Oh,
YOU.
right.
They're a real pollster. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
And it said 1 in 8 female voters have said that they are doing that, are voting for
Oh, wow.
someone and that their spouse doesn't know.
Oh, wow. I didn't
I forget
know
what the
about
actual
that.
thing, but anyway, this is like a phenomenon that whatever 12.5% of female voters are saying this is happening, and who knows? Maybe that's just people admitting it to pollsters. It's pretty
That's a big
crazy.
deal. And I think, like, because sometimes you'll see a state, the early vote is like 50% Republicans,
Mm-hmm.
and 50% Democrats, and Republicans are using that as a good sign for them. But it's like, but I think a good amount of the Republicans aren't going to vote for Trump. I think more Republicans will probably abandon him. Maybe.
Maybe. I
know.
mean,
Maybe
one
not.
of the things that they're seeing is that older Americans are really turned against Trump. I think even older white people, 65 and older, are just not voting for him in the same numbers that they did in the past. Because they're saying like just a lot of them were really turned off by January 6th. I don't,
Yeah.
that's just something
Older
saw,
people do kind of care about democracy and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
like
true.
even young Democrats aren't necessarily like that excited by this idea of let's keep democracy going. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be a big thing where everybody talked about democracy. Like Reagan was all like
Schoolhouse
democracy,
Rock, right?
democracy.
I
Yeah.
know.
So it was a very like thing that we had against the Soviet Union. I think maybe
Right,
that's why
right,
everybody
right.
was so into it. So they were really steeped in that. So maybe that's why it makes more of a difference to them.
I think when Biden's big thing was democracy, and I think when Harris became the candidate, she
Yeah.
decided to talk about freedom,
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of democracy, and I can kind of see why that would reverberate better.
I agree. I actually thought she didn't even hit that as much as she should. It felt like she hit that at
Mm,
the beginning, but who knows? Maybe she was hitting it in every stump speech, but it just wasn't getting reported on because it was the same thing said, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So you don't have any hard and fast predictions about the election?
I don't know, man. My gut still says Trump is going to
Oh
win,
my god!
but but you know, the latest evidence, if I was just going by that, I'd be like, okay, I think Harris might pull this out.
My father-in-law, my wife's dad, they live in Houston,
Yeah.
and he was like, Trump's gonna win and Ted Cruz is gonna win.
Yeah.
But then more recently, he kind of changed his mind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they went to vote and it was like really crowded, and like I think he's seeing the writing on the wall.
That's
So
interesting. Well, I did
yeah,
read like, oh, okay. So if this woman who with that Iowa poll
yeah,
is
sells
right,
it.
and you sort of extrapolate from that, that
Yeah,
even Texas would have like a shot at going blue. It
I
would she would
think
have
they
to be
do
like she would
actually.
have to be like slightly off still, but within her margin of error or anything. If she was like underestimating,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Texas would.
And she has a good reputation. Like she said Trump would win in 2016, I think.
Right. I think that's why everybody's freaking out about it. It's
Yeah,
not just
yeah.
because it's an outlier poll. It's because it's her. That's my understanding. But who knows?
Totally.
Maybe we're all, maybe they're fooling us and making us think that this is a big deal and it's not. I don't know.
And I think like we might have said it in the last show that like Trump's behavior makes you think his internal polling is saying he's in trouble because he is so unhinged and
Right. Because
crazy.
he's so angry.
And he's also saying they're cheating. So he's setting up,
Yeah. That's a very good point.
because he
Actually.
wouldn't say that the Dems are cheating if he knows he's going to win.
Right. Why would he be so, yeah. And just, yeah, so unhinged. You said it. It's,
Yeah.
he's been extra crazy over the last
Yeah.
2 weeks. Yeah, it's weird.
I read some Reddit. I think they're posting a lot of crap on Reddit, both sides. But
There's
one of
so
them,
much
remember
crap out
when
there
he was
lately.
like swaying to the music for 30 minutes?
Yeah.
The Reddit was like, did he have a mini stroke? And he didn't want to talk for that amount of time because of the aphasia of like the mini stroke he had.
Who knows?
I know.
Who knows? It
probably
does seem like
BS.
maybe there's something going on. He's also been slurring a lot more lately.
Yeah,
And
it's
it could
been,
just
definitely.
be he's more he's just older and tired more quickly, but
I think he's
it's
exhausted. And the Adderall, it late in the
right?
day, you have to take a second dose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he
Keep your focus. Yeah.
I guess maybe yeah, he needs more. Did you see that thing where he was getting on the truck?
Yes. In fact, I posted a thing on former Twitter from the show that I did, the President Show.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
we did a thing where he got onto a truck and they had to like push
That
him
was
on.
so good.
Well,
that
they
show
did
was amazing.
It
by
was
the
a
way.
good show.
It was such a good
I
show.
know. I wish it was still on now, but the original truck thing was the first episode, and then at the end of the series, we did another truck thing where he gets on a truck and then he drives it into the river. But he
Yeah, I
needed to
remember.
get help, and it was some UCB guy you probably know was like the truck driver guy.
I don't know who it
And he
Pally, Adam
needed to
Pally,
get.
who worked on the
No,
show, or
it was
no?
like Jim. It was a guest.
Oh, yeah,
Jim
yeah, Jim.
something.
Yes,
You know who I'm
what's his
talking
name?
about.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't think of. Yeah, but I know. Yeah.
Anyway, it was there were some similarities between the scene because he had in this real thing with the garbage truck, he had trouble getting on the truck. Is that what you were going to talk about, or the trying to grab the handle? Or
yeah, him trying. Well, yeah, where he grabs the hand and he kind of like it. He just looks drunk the way he's getting on,
and
it's
his leg
weird.
It was kind of dragging
Yeah,
a little bit. So
I mean.
maybe he did.
I mean, he's just older. I don't know. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
that bad. I feel like I could that could happen to me.
Right,
But at the same time, it was like hilarious. Well, you know what was why I think it became more of a thing was because I think it was Hannity showing a clip of it, and over the clip he's saying like, "There he is, so strong and masculine," or something ridiculous like that. Like, maybe not exactly that, but it was anyway. That I think that's maybe why it became a bigger thing. I'm gonna go find your the formerly Twitter.
I can text you the link. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think let's wrap it up. We're gonna try to do another show the day after Election Day on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Just react to what's going on.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, let's take a deep breath, and it's going to be a nutty few days, I guess.
I know. Then we can really talk about like what's going to happen. When is he going to send the troops into the cities? Do you think he'll go as far south in Brooklyn as where you live, or will he stay at it? Will he keep the troops out of Brooklyn entirely?
When should I head to the Canadian border?
Right. When should you? I'm always like, go to the coast. Find. I don't know.
Jill, my wife, has a Canadian passport now, so we can go. She said I could go, and then. I'm not a Canadian passport, but I think I could probably still go with her.
Yeah. And
then we could deal with the paperwork later.
Once you get there.
Yeah. Oh boy.
All right.
Yikes. Well, all right. Well, here we go.
Here we go.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.